everybody. You see me smiling, why? Because it kind of sucks out here in New York City.
The mind controls everything.
Your mind isn't ready.
Know me, son? Yeah. Horny, you got some more in you.
Your mind's not prepared. You've been studying, you've been training, you've been working out, but your mind's not prepared.
You're soft, and the worst part, you know it.
Story for you. When I was 19 years old, I was going through the Air Force trying to be a pararescueman. I was doing push-ups, sit-ups, swimming. I was doing all this shit, knocking out of the park. One of the best in the class. But the second an obstacle got in my way, I wasn't prepared for it mentally. I was a beast. All I was doing was I was training a bigger, stronger, faster quitter. You gotta train your mind for all obstacles that might get in your way. Stay hard.
We're all, a lot of us are going through a hard time in life. Some people have been bullied. Some people are just stressed out. Some people are insecure. Some people are fat and overweight. And the world puts a lot of this shit in your mind. It's not just you. Yeah, you help it. And my whole thing is about, I had to develop a mindset that was indestructible. I had to armor plate my mind. And it's about what you're saying to yourself, but it also comes with work. So whenever I was getting beat down, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever I was going through, just saying, I would put, you can't hurt me. Can't hurt me just became a message I would say to myself. And that's just kind of where it comes from.
You're tired? Good. Stressed? So what? Life's not going to pause because you're overwhelmed.
I believe that most human beings are only living at about 40% of their capability. So the mind has a governor, like a car. If you're driving a car and the car has a governor on it, the car may say 130 miles an hour, but the governor's set for 91. Once that governor sets in, you get to 91, that car starts doing this. The car wants to go. The car wants to go. The factory said, we're not going past 91. We have a factory, a nice governor in our brain, and it's a survival mechanism. It protects us from pain and suffering. The second we feel that shit, our mind says, oh no, this isn't fun. We should back off. We should sit down, find something more comfortable. And there's something about the mind. The mind has the tactical advantage over you at all times.
Mental toughness isn't some motivational quote. It's a mindset forged in pain, setbacks, and failure. It's doing what needs to be done even when you're drained, broken, and invisible to the world.
At all times of your life, the mind has a tactical advantage over you. Why is that? It knows what you're afraid of. It knows your insecurities. It knows your deep, dark lies.
It's saying, I don't give a damn how I feel, I'm getting it done. Most people crumble when things get uncomfortable, but the mentally tough, they don't flinch. They don't negotiate with excuses. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They grind through the storm.
And it starts to push you away from that shit. It pushes you in a direction that is comfortable. The mind controls everything.
Life doesn't get easier. You get tougher. Every challenge is a test, and every test is a chance to sharpen your edge. So stop whining. Stop looking for sympathy. No one is going to hand you resilience. You build it every damn day. If you want to win in this life, you better toughen up, because soft minds don't survive in a hard world.
So what I realized was that when I was growing up and I was 300 pounds and I got all fat and I got all insecure, I realized that my mind kept taking me in this direction. When things got uncomfortable for me, when I was facing my insecurities, when I was facing my fears, my mind said, oh no, we have the tactical advantage. We need to get you, separate you from this feeling over here. Life's all about feelings. We want the happy feeling. We don't want that feeling of this sucks.
You don't make decisions. Your feelings do. And that's why you're weak, why you're stuck.
Why am I here? And you don't have any, so you can't answer those questions, so you leave. I started realizing that if in that moment, you can answer those up questions, and you are now in charge of your brain versus your brain ruling you, that's where all that stuff comes from. So
people is fucking deciding based on feelings, not facts. You don't fail because life's hard. You fail because you listen to the wrong voice in your head. Not the one that says work, the one that says, I don't feel like it. That's the voice running your life, and it's ruining you.
So the 40% rule is all of that. You get to 40%, your brain says, we're done. Let's roll, man. This is starting to get painful. This is uncomfortable. So you sit down. you have to figure out ways, and everybody's different. That's how the book kind of talks about, like we all have these things about, 5 steps to this and 4 steps to this. It's a lot more than that. That's all bullshit. It's a practice that you have to, it's a habit. So if you know that at 40%, I'm feeling pain. At 40% I'm feeling pain. That's where the 40% rule kicks in.
When you're going through tough times, remember, pain is temporary. It may feel like it's going to last forever, but it won't. Every storm runs out of rain. Every wound eventually heals. And this season you're in right now, it's just that, a season.
Now it starts, okay? I'm feeling pain. My mind's saying all this shit to me. It's saying, get out of here, run, flee. The fight or flight kicks in. Okay, we're done, we're not good enough. It starts telling you all these things. You start to believe it because the mind controls all. This is the time where you have to gain control back of your mind. It's okay, let me see if I can go 45%. And then once you start giving yourself more and more hope and start realizing, okay, the mind starts to be, okay, what are you doing? We're supposed to be going right and you're going left. You start then controlling your mind. Start finding more in yourself, and then it goes from 40% to a lot further than that. But that's the start of it though. Get to the spot where your mind is saying stop. Wherever that is, you gotta get there first. And then that's when that shit starts to work for you. You gotta control yourself in that moment.
People make decisions based on how they feel, not what's true, not what matters, not what builds a future. I'm tired, skip the gym. I'm stressed, eat the junk, drink the bottle, scroll for hours. I'm scared, don't send the email, don't start the business, don't ask her out. Feelings aren't facts, they're chemical storms in your brain. Shaped by sleep, hormones, dopamine hits, and yesterday's failure. And you're letting them call the shots. You think winners are fearless. No, they feel the same fear, fatigue, doubt, but they act anyway because they know emotions lie.
In the dark room, you face yourself, you realize you want to be better, you realize you don't want to be this weak, insecure person in the world who has all these problems that we all have. We all have. Social media is a great platform to tell you who we want to be, not who we are. So that's where that dark room is.
You may be hurting, you may be tired, you may be wondering how much longer you can take it. But I promise you, there's something waiting on the other side of this pain. Growth, strength, a version of you that can't be broken. Pain isn't here to destroy you, it's here to develop you. You've got to stop thinking this moment defines your life. It doesn't. It's just a page, not the whole story.
So the first thing about it is, once you realize it, and you have to realize it, you gotta call yourself out. Addressing it is very small. It doesn't go from like one morning I'm this way, next morning I wake up and presto, 5 steps to greatness. No, it ain't that, brother.
Greatness doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who outwork, outlast, and outbleed everyone else.
You read my book, this is hard work. It's every day, like right now. I had to be honest with you, man. I'm even shaking right now being on this show. I'm a big time introvert. How you address it is you face it.
What the hell am I even doing? When you have nothing, you've got one thing they can't measure: self-confidence. It's not about money, not about fame, not about who you know. It's about what you believe when there's no one clapping, no one watching, no one helping. You look in the mirror and say, I got me. That's the fire, that's the edge, that's the foundation. When the world sees zero, you see potential.
You face it every day. You face it every single day of your life. Where you say, okay, like if you're fat and you need to lose weight, it's patience. It's patience in this fact of accepting who you are right now. I'm fat, I don't like myself. Accepting the fact that if you lose 3 or 4 pounds, that's a huge accomplishment. You have to live in your own world. You cannot judge yourself. That's why social media and all these things are horrible. You can't judge yourself off of the so-called competition that we have made up in our mind. The things that how people look, how people act, how smart someone is. This is a race that you run completely alone. And you're all by yourself. I had tons of sticky notes all over my mirror. It wasn't like, be better than John or be as fast as whoever. Okay, David, yesterday you did this. Today, our next goal for the week is this. So I had a year goal, weekly goals, daily goals, hourly goals, And the big goal was I lied a lot growing up. I wanted to be accepted. One goal was, let's go one day without lying. Let's go one day. And then when I would lie to somebody, I would say, hey man, now I had to go back now and apologize. Hey man, I lied to you. You know how hard it is to go back to somebody and say, I lied to you? Hey man, you know what? Back there, I lied to you, dude. I was really jacked up. So I figured out these ways of total accountability.
You want change? Start here. You are the reason your life looks like this. Not bad luck, not unfairness. You. The choices you made, the work you didn't do, the standards you accepted. Accountability isn't a feel-good word. It's a gut punch. It's looking at your failures and saying, yeah, that was me. No defense, no escape, just truth. Because until you own it, you can't fix it. No one's coming to rescue you. No mentor, no viral moment, no magic break. You don't need luck. You need the guts to admit you've been weak, lazy, distracted, and then fix it like a man.
Like right now, I had to run this morning before I talked to you, because why? That's what I'm about. I'm about mind, body, fitness. A lot of folks talk so much shit about, hey, I'm gonna change your life. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Are you accountable for what you're doing? Are you accountable, and I mean to the T, for what you're saying? I am. And that's where it started. It started with that total accountability of, let's not lie today. Let's tell people the truth about who you are. And when you can get on and tell someone, like I'm doing right now, exactly what you are, that's the goal in life. To put your life on a billboard, on the busiest road, in the busiest highway in the world, and say, this is how I used to be. Take it or leave it.
You move. You grind with vision. You suffer with purpose. You sacrifice with discipline. And you stay locked in because you know what's coming on the other side.
It's one of the biggest things in the world. A lot of us, mediocrity is everywhere right now. And we're all trying to find an easy way out. And we're judging ourselves. Let's say there's 10 people in this room and we're all mediocre. But I'm the best of the mediocre people. I now think I'm great. I'm great. We surround ourselves around people that make us feel great. They tell us what we want to hear. The second we put ourselves amongst the uncommon people, we don't like that feeling. That challenging feeling of that person who's waking up at 3:30 in the morning and say, hey, put your shit on, we're going for a run. We don't like that challenge. We like that person who says, hey, you know, man, I don't feel good today, man. And they say, oh, it's okay, brother. Take a day off, man, we'll get a pizza and shit, watch the game. We like that. We love that feeling. Why? Because you understand, man, we're good, bro. We don't want fuckers like this. Hey, man, no, bro. Get you on, man. Stop being a punk. We don't want that in our lives. We don't want that person who's constantly challenging our weaknesses. We want that person who's constantly, making us feel nice and good and secure in ours. That's the mediocrity of life. We want to be the best amongst the average people.
The 1% mindset isn't about being better than others. It's about never settling for average. Most people want results. The 1%, they obsess over the process. Day in, day out, no shortcuts. A 1% mindset outworks talent every single time. Discipline is the language the 1% speaks fluently. They don't need hype. They don't wait to feel ready. They move because discipline demands it.
People wonder, how do you stay hungry all the time? Because after I accomplish something, I don't sit back like a lot of guys who graduate buds, graduate this, graduate that. They get comfortable. They wonder why I'm getting weak, man. I don't know, I lost my edge. What's going on? Because once you hit the top of the mountain, guess what happened? I'm good. I'm good, so you wonder why you're falling down now. Because once you reach the top of the mountain, you got to build another one. That's mediocrity. There's a lot of people in mediocrity who have a nice resume, but they're one-timers, man. They hit a one-time deal, they busted it open, got a lot of money, but they're good. You're mediocre now, man.
Greatness isn't born, it's built in the dark. One painful choice at a time. You don't become great by avoiding failure. You become great by refusing to stay down.
What are you doing today, tomorrow, the next day? That's why I don't listen to theorists. I don't listen to all that bullshit. I listen to fucker who's like this, man. What's wrong, man? I'm tired, dude. Why are you tired? Because tomorrow I gotta do looking shit again, man. Whatever the shit is that made me fucking nauseous and sick to my stomach, it made me hurt. There's no ending. And that's the person I listen to. That's the person who's gained knowledge. You gain knowledge through suffering. And on the other end of suffering is a world that very few have ever seen. It's a beautiful world.
You want to be great? Then suffer. Bleed for it. Cry for it. There's no other way.
The truth is harsh. Every champion you admire, every millionaire you envy, they suffered more than you can imagine. Suffering is not the enemy. Comfort is. Comfort keeps you average.
Because that's where you find yourself. You don't find yourself in over here. You find yourself on the other end. Like the 100-mile race I was on, I ran it for 24 hours. I found myself on the other end of that fucking race. That 19 hours, I found, wow, there's a whole nother world out here that I've never even saw. But the world's in your mind. And that's what all that mediocrity is about. Mediocrity is contagious. Not getting civilized is about having a savage mentality. Civilized is something where people, it's a comfortable world.
Most people don't make decisions based on logic. They make them based on feelings, and that's why they stay broke, stuck, and invisible. You feel tired, so you skip the work. You feel overwhelmed, so you procrastinate. You feel like quitting, so you quit. That's why you're losing, because you're letting temporary emotions dictate long-term outcomes. Facts don't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't care if you're motivated. The work needs to be done, period. You think successful people always feel like it? They don't. They just act. They execute when it's boring, painful, and inconvenient.
A lot of us say, like for instance, I see these athletes right now who retire. I'm 38, I'm 39. I did 20 years at the top of my game, and I'm chilling out now. You see them a year later and how they look. What the hell just happened to you, dude? What the hell? You're one of the greatest athletes of all time. Kids looked up to you. Women, men of all ages looked up to you. And they hit the pinnacle where it's time to retire, and their mind says, I'm civilized. The worst thing that could ever happen to any human being is they become civilized. It's that total accountability. Like even when you retire, there's a motherfucker looking at me and judging me right now, man. I was the baddest person to ever live. It doesn't go away, man. You gotta wake up, even though you retired, you never retired. You're setting the example every single day of your life. And being civilized feels so good. I'm sorry, man. Once you get to the top, you may retire, but you ain't never coming back home, man. Now you're judged. People see you falling off. You wanna be that guy who knows I may be retired from the sport or wherever I did, but I'll be damned if you ever see me looking like shit, feeling like shit, not arriving. People, I've arrived mentality. You're always setting the example. Civilization feels so good. These comfortable feelings are what people want. They want retirement. They want that. They need that. It's a yearning feeling. I want it too. People love putting a label on me about, my God, man, you're just wired different. I'm wired different, dude. I'm thinking right now, after I got past my stuttering thing, now I'm on a roll, I'm good now. You know what I'm thinking about right now? I gotta wake up tomorrow and do the same shit again. I gotta leave this interview and go stretch out for 2.5 hours. I hate that shit. But guess what it does though? I'm constantly callousing over my victim's mentality that I once had growing up. Every day you have to do this shit. Because why? When you stop doing it, you don't just maintain it. If you stop shooting a gun, you're not gonna be a great shot if you pick a gun up a year from now. The only way to keep from getting rusty is to constantly oil that mother machine. The machine exists. You gotta keep challenging it every day.
Here's the difference. Weak minds avoid suffering and stay trapped forever. Strong minds embrace suffering and transform it into power. You don't grow in comfort zones. You grow in the fire. You grow when life beats you down and you get back up, angrier, hungrier, unstoppable. So, Suffer with purpose. Suffer for your vision.
How do I do it? How am I able to do what I do on a daily basis? You know, how do I fight the demons? Because they hear me speak and I'm very raw and real. How do you fight my insecurities? All these things. And they're there every day. They're there every day. Like you said, I'm in search for a feeling. I'm not in search for a trophy. I'm not in search for love. I'm not in search for more followers on Instagram or social media. When I started this journey years ago, and I realized that I'm going to be somebody, and I'm searching for a feeling of true victory for myself, and only myself. The second I shut out the whole world and realized that one thing, that I am in this world alone.
Not your friends, not your family, not your so-called ride or dies. When it was cold, when it was brutal, when you were broke, broken, and begging the universe for a sign. Silence. So you get it anyway. No mentor, no hype squad, no safety net. Just you, your pain, and a fire no one cared to notice because no one was even looking. I did it alone. No handouts, no shortcuts. Just me, my grind, and my will to suffer through it. And guess what? I'm still going. Nobody clapped. Nobody checked in. They doubted. They laughed. They vanished when it got tough. But I didn't flinch. I didn't fold. I kept moving because I knew if I wanted this life, I had to take it alone. You see, when you walk through hell by yourself, you don't come back the same. You build a different kind of beast. You stop needing approval. You stop begging for support. You realize no one can stop you but you. Most people quit when they feel lonely. That's why they stay average. But me? Loneliness became my fuel. The silence sharpened my focus. And now, I don't keep going because I have to. I keep going because I know exactly how dangerous I've become. I built myself in the dark. Now, I'm coming for everything they said I couldn't have.
I'm fighting in this race by myself. Yeah, I'm all about people. I'm all about team. I'm all about that shit. But I'm really all about right now and in my life, just like you said, no one knows the real truth about me, how hard I really go. I don't care if anybody knows. I don't want anybody to know. I'm an introvert. I live an introverted life. And I love that about me. That right there is my fuel. Is I know that there's really no one out there grinding like me. And if they are, so be it. If I know about you, I'll make sure that I up my game. That's what the mentality is all about. My whole thing is a mentality thing. Like I told you the last time I was on the show, I viewed myself as the weakest person on the planet Earth. My goal in life was to, in my mind, believe I'm the hardest man alive. And that's why the whole thing is can't hurt me. That's what it's about. It's about whatever you think you are, you have to make that dream a reality. But that's where the hard part is making that dream reality. That's where the hard work comes. That's where people know, how do you keep grinding every day?
Because the ones who suffer the most win the most. This is the game. Pay the price. Stop praying for an easy life. Start building a strong character. The most powerful version of you is waiting on the other side of the suffering you're avoiding. Now ask yourself, are you suffering the pain of discipline or the pain of regret? Because one of them is coming for you either way.
You have to make those insecurities, those fears. Like when I was 300 pounds, I didn't have any drive. I'm gonna go be a Navy SEAL. What kind of stupid shit is that, 300 pounds? It wasn't like a drive to go be a Navy SEAL. I was an insecure, lying kid, afraid. I had to look at my insecurities and in my fear and find drive in that. We're all looking for passion. Passion's all around you. You have a whole stack of it all around you. It's your insecurities, all that shit. You gotta dive deep into that shit. It's all in there. All the energy and fuel you need is right in yourself. It's all there. You got a lot of stuff to do to overcome. And that's where I found it. I found it right there in my own insecurities. I found drive in my own insecurities. And that's the most powerful thing in the world. When you can find drive in your own doubt, fear, insecurities, you become very unstoppable.
Kill your excuses!
When things get hard, and they will, you've got two choices. Face it or fold. Pain shows up uninvited, and most people respond with excuses. I'm tired. I'm not ready. It's not the right time. That's weakness talking, and it's lying to you.
Like your biggest enemy, the most important conversation you will ever have in life is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, you go to bed with it, eventually you're going to act on it, whether it's good or bad. You have to. That's why the whole thing about this book I have, it's about you. It is about you. It's strictly about you finding who you are. So many people die, live 100 years, never know who they are. Never know who they are. You have to look in that mirror and know there's so much more in here, man. Because I could literally right now be a 300-pound guy spraying for cockroaches still to this day if I did not look in that mirror and say, there has to be more to this. This can't be it. And then willing to go into it, dive deep into it, and give all I have to find it. So that's what all that's about.
It's knowing the gap between where you are and where you want to be is only filled by action. No distractions, no excuses, no shortcuts. Just focus, belief, and straight up hard work. While they flex privilege, you flex purpose. While they scroll, you study. While they waste time, you're turning your pain into fuel. You don't need validation, you need execution. You don't need a head start, you need obsession. So stop worrying about what you lack. You've got drive, you've got grit, you've got belief. Now it's time to work. Build when nobody's clapping, push when nobody's watching, because confidence isn't given, it's earned, and you're earning yours every damn day.
So a lot of people can live with themselves. That's the first thing. A lot of people can live with themselves, look in the mirror and say, I'm okay with being afraid. I'm okay with going on this easy highway over here. The easy highway has all these signs and shit, directions, how to get somewhere. And you have to first be uncomfortable with how you feel about yourself. With that voice that a lot of us like to run away from, we all have it. We all have that voice that's saying, hey man, you know, you're kind of wimping out right now. You're kind of being a little punk right now. But a lot of us say, okay, that's okay. It's okay to tell these little white lies to ourselves.
You're not special because you're stressed. Everybody's battling something. You're drowning? I get it. Life's hitting you like a freight train. Bills stacking up, deadlines breathing down your neck, expectations crushing you, failures piling until you can't even breathe. And what do? You freeze, you shut down, you tell yourself, I can't handle this. Stop.
So we first have to face the real you. The real me is David Goggins. The real me is a guy looking at you right now saying, I don't want to be on this show right now because I used to stutter as a kid. And I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid that here in a second, I'm going to start fucking stammering and stuttering and the whole world's going to know that I have all these issues. But that's when I see right now, okay, Goggins, you got to go on the show. That's Goggins. Goggins is saying, okay, David Goggins, you're a punk. Life made you this way. We can't live like this. We can't live in fear. We can't live in judgment. We can't be afraid of what people right now are looking at me saying about me. We cannot be afraid of that. That's Goggins. Goggins saying, all of you who don't like me, who don't want to, and that person then comes in. But you have to be David Goggins and say, man, I'm afraid of this, up here. Life made me this way here. I stutter. I have these issues with reading and writing, and I'm fat and I'm insecure. You have to face that in that dark room. In that dark room is who you are. But in that dark room is where you have to create another human being that walks out of that dark room to face who you are. That's the only way you're going to get over all those things. You have to create someone else. Not like you have two different personalities. It is you. But you have to find strength. And that visualization of almost me cracking out Goggins, like almost like that Superman cape, like I'm coming out a different person, a person that doesn't give a fuck about anything, who doesn't care about being judged, who knows I'm weak, who knows I'm afraid, who says, whatever you think about me, take it, whatever, I'm here. That's Goggins.
You think the people who made it, the winners, the legends, didn't feel overwhelmed? Of course they did. The difference is they didn't fold, they didn't run. They took the chaos, organized it, and attacked it, one piece at a time. Overwhelm is a signal, not a stop sign.
I'm gonna go there with you real quick. I believe in a higher power. Don't know the name, don't know where it's coming from, don't know anything like that. But I believe that this power, and visualize with me real quick. Let's say it's a man up there or a woman, whatever, and they have a chart. And when you're born, they say David Goggins, born February 17th, 1975 at 6 a.m. They write the chart down because they can see everything. They know exactly what you're supposed to be. They know what you're supposed to be. You die, you go to so-called heaven. You arrive at heaven, I'm 300 pounds. I retired as an Ecolab guy, which is okay, it's just a job, whatever. I go up there and God looks at me and he shows me my chart. And my chart on there says you were supposed to be a Navy SEAL. You're supposed to weigh 185 pounds. You're supposed to be one of the smartest people on the planet, this, all this. You see this. And now you're in heaven, you made it to heaven, but you're like, God, Doug, I was supposed to live that life. I was supposed to live that life. And then you find out that the reason why, because we all think that if we pray on it, if we do this, if we do that, whatever, if we don't work, we just, whatever, it's gonna magically happen for us. No, I believe that when I'm all said and done with, my whole job is to outwork the chart. Whatever the chart says about me, the all-knowing power up there, I want to get up there and say, him look at me and say, I know everything. I didn't see this. I didn't see this. I want to feel that. I want to get to the other end of this world, and however I'm being judged, whoever's judging me, to look at me and say, I did not know. I had you at 185, I had you at this, but all this other shit, I was riding as you were living it. I want to find more. All I can. And in that sack of shit, you have to dive in that to find more. Because if you're not willing to go in there and face yourself, you're not gonna find anything. You're gonna live right here on surface, man, right here on surface. So if there is an ending to this world and there is somewhere to go and there's a judgment, you're gonna get there and you might see a chart. And that chart may tell you who the should have been. And now you get the rest of your life to think about that. Man, I could have lived a much better life if I just would have just suffered a little bit more. If I just would have went in that shit and realized I had so much more. But fear and the 40% and living here versus living here, being afraid, stop me.
It's life asking you one brutal question. How bad do you want it? You can drown or you can swim. You can panic or you can plan. You can cry about how unfair it is. Or you can decide right now that this storm won't break you. Pressure is the privilege of those who are in the game. So embrace it, fight through it. Let overwhelm be your fuel, not your funeral.
So I'm a big guy in visualizing. I'm a big guy in making a world. It may not exist. To me, it does. To me, it does. And I'm overpowering myself every day. And you got to find tools to do that. That's the tool that I use. So that's what it's all about. When you really sit back at your life and you are in that dark room and you're looking at where you started from and you tell yourself, God, dog, man, my mom is this way, my stupid stepdad got murdered, my dad beat the shit out of me, I can't read and write, I've lied about it to everybody, I've cheated on all these tests. My God, man. And then you put a goal in your mind. How are you gonna feel, man, when you accomplish this goal coming from that shit? Coming from the fucking hell you came from. A lot of people start from a good starting point. They have a good foundation. What if you can surpass all of these? What if everybody who was way up here started up here, and you started with no legs. You had to grow fucking legs to even start walking, and then crawling, and then running. And then you start passing people and all this given to them. I had to use all this negative shit that was making me weak and horrible as a person. I had to use this as the power that now fueled me. I had to flip it on its head and say, hold up. This might be exactly what I need. The darkness is exactly what I need. It's how you look at your situation. And I was looking at it up. There's a lot of power in that list.
Just raw, unglamorous grind. Day after day when no one's watching and no one's clapping. You don't find motivation. You build it through action. You think talent wins? Wrong! The most dangerous people in the world aren't the gifted ones. They're the ones too stubborn to stop. The ones who outwork, outlast, and outsuffer everyone else.
So, in that list of who you are, what makes you, all these other things, it goes back to, once again, accepting. You have to first accept it before you can fix it. A lot of people walk around, oh man, I'm good. I'm good. No, you're not. You have to accept what you're not. You have to, and people don't want to do that. And that's the only way you can fix it. You have to accept it first before you can go on the journey. A lot of folks never even start the journey, man. They never start the journey because they live in this fake life that who they want to be, they act like they are, but they're not because they haven't fixed all this stuff yet. You got to fix this first before we can start our journey in life. So that's why I have them make this list. You fix these problems, now your journey can begin because you no longer care about how people are judging you. When you care more about how someone's judging you, you're going to stay right there. There's no forward momentum. So that's the whole thing about that list.
All right. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being unbreakable. When you fail, you rise. When you bleed, you fight. When the world tells you no, you scream. Watch me. Dude, the clock is ticking. The competition isn't sleeping. Will you be relentless, or will you be forgotten? The choice is yours. Now, get to work.
You're not the smartest person in school. I had that issue. So my big thing was how I addressed that problem was I had to sit down. Each thing that is wrong with you has to be a focal point. You can't look at this gigantic list and say, I gotta change all this shit. My God, this is crazy. No. You take off the first one. I want to be smarter. For me, that was my thing. I have to become more intelligent. I have such a severe learning disability, man. I can't retain shit. I had to now get that one thing and then strategize in that one problem. How can I do this? I'm not going to learn like you. I'm not going to learn like anybody else. How am I going to figure this out? So I then figured out, okay, where are my strengths here? Where are my weaknesses in learning? All right, man, how am I going to do this? And I figured out a way to do it by just strategizing. So how I learn to this day, if I have a big manual to study, I will have to get a bunch of spiral notebooks from the daggone store. And each page, I have to write each page out, maybe 10 times. So there was a 1,000-page dive manual that I got 18 months before I went to dive school. Most people, I'm not smart, I'm gonna go see if I can pass this test. I realized, hang on a second, I'm not smart. How can I get past this? How can I get through this obstacle? I need to acquire this book 18 months in advance because it could take me 18 months to write down each page over and over again to then put it to memory. So when the question came up, I had written that question so many times down on paper that I can recall, okay, page 71 was where I remember seeing this, and I can recall it that way. And that's how I did it. So you gotta strategize on each problem you have in life. Slowly break down that problem. Don't think about all the problems you have, just one at a time. And before you know it, you fix all these problems, but you cannot focus on all of them. Just on the one thing at a time.
Greatness doesn't wear a crown. It wears calloused hands and tired eyes from years of unseen work. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Extraordinary lives are forged in relentless discomfort. Greatness isn't loud. It's the quiet, brutal consistency of showing up when no one's watching, when no one claps. You don't find greatness in applause. You find it in the struggle, the sacrifice, the silence. Greatness isn't about being the best. It's about being better than you were yesterday. It's not talent that defines greatness. It's the obsession, the grit, the refusal to quit. Greatness is earned, alone, in the dark, while the world sleeps.
Every time you make a decision based on feelings, you trade your future for comfort. You delay your goals for a cheap dopamine hit. If you want to win, you must detach feelings from actions. Make decisions based on facts, on discipline, on what needs to be done, not what feels good. Stop being emotional. Start being lethal.